I should have never asked. I should have never needed to ask him for help. But I did. And in one simple moment, my entire world came crashing down. It wasn't just the zipper that came undone that night. It was everything I thought I knew about myself, about my marriage, about the lines we draw between us and the people we trust most. It was just a dress, right? A simple thing that needed a little help. That's what I kept telling myself. But when I turned around and asked him to zip me up, I had no idea that this one innocent request would change everything. You see, I've always been the type of person who likes control. I like having things in order, being on top of things. I like my life planned out. But there are moments when we let go, when we step into the unknown. And in those moments, we find out who we really are and what we're willing to lose. It started like any normal evening. I was getting ready for my husband's big event, an important gala for his company. We'd been planning it for weeks, and as usual, I was running behind. He was always on time, always so put together. Me? Not so much. I slipped into the dress, deep emerald green, hugging my body just right, the kind of dress that demands attention. My reflection stared back at me, and for a moment I couldn't help but admire how the dress made me feel. Powerful, beautiful, everything I needed to feel for an evening like this. But there was one small problem, the zipper. It was stuck. It always had been, this stupid zipper. I yanked at it, trying to pull it up, but it wouldn't budge. I tried again, tugging harder this time, but no matter how much I pulled, it wouldn't zip. That's when I heard his voice. "Is everything all right in there?" I froze. It wasn't my husband's voice. It was his. My father-in-law. My husband's father. "I can't get this zipper up," I called back, half distracted, irritated at the dress, at myself for being late. I didn't know what else to say. He didn't hesitate. "Do you need help?" The words were out before I had a chance to think. He was the last person I'd expected to be helping me with something like this. But it was just a zipper. Nothing more. He was my father-in-law. He'd seen me in much worse situations. He was family. "I'll be right in," he said, and I heard his footsteps approach. When he stepped into the room, I turned around, offering him a smile that felt more forced than I intended. The last thing I wanted was for him to see how flustered I was, how out of control I felt in that moment. "I'll get it," he said gently, his voice calm, almost reassuring. He moved closer, standing right behind me. I couldn't help but feel a strange tension in the air, something unspoken, an electricity crackling between us. But I was too distracted by the dress to fully acknowledge it. "Just hold still," he said, his voice low as his fingers brushed the back of my dress, searching for the zipper. I felt the heat of his presence close behind me. My heart raced and my breath hitched, but I told myself it was nothing. It was just the situation, just the stress of getting ready. But the longer his fingers lingered on my back, the more I felt something stir in me. The tension between us thickened, growing heavier with each second. And then it happened. The zipper broke free with a snap, but it wasn't just the zipper. The dress came undone. My breath caught in my throat as the fabric of the dress parted in two, slipping down my shoulders just enough to reveal more skin than I ever intended to show. The moment stretched, and in the silence of the room it felt like time itself had stopped. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. Behind me I could feel his breath, steady but somehow more intimate. The air felt thick with an undeniable pull. "Are you all right?" he asked softly, his voice now tinged with something I couldn't quite place. I should have turned around. I should have stepped away, told him to stop. But I didn't. I couldn't. The moment had already passed the point of no return. His proximity, his touch, his calm demeanor. It all affected me in ways I hadn't anticipated. I turned slightly, just enough to see him out of the corner of my eye. His face was inches from mine, his expression unreadable. For a second, I saw something flash in his eyes, something that startled me, something that made my pulse quicken. "Maybe I should help you fix this," he murmured, his hand hovering near the edge of my dress. I wanted to pull away. I wanted to tell him this was wrong, but all I could do was stand there, paralyzed by the tension. Then, as if he could read my mind, his hand touched my back again. Slowly, tentatively. His fingers brushed my skin, and I felt the heat of his touch spread like wildfire through my entire body. My mind screamed at me to stop it, to walk away, but my body betrayed me. The moment felt too intimate, too charged to escape. It was as if the world outside of us had disappeared, leaving just the two of us, suspended in this unbearable silence. And before I could stop him, or myself, he pulled the dress down further, completely unraveling the illusion of control I'd spent so long trying to maintain. I could feel myself shaking. I didn't know if it was from fear or desire, but the line between the two had blurred completely. I couldn't look at him, but I also couldn't look away. The room was suffocating now, the walls closing in as I stood there, half exposed, feeling completely out of control. What had started as a simple request for help had escalated into something I wasn't prepared for, something I couldn't take back. "I think we need to fix this," he said again, his voice softer this time, as if the words held a deeper meaning than they ever had before. I knew what he meant. I could feel it in the air. But the question was, could I let him? In that moment, I realized the truth. The zipper wasn't the only thing that had come undone. I had come undone, and I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to put myself back together again.